Welcome back. Time to bring in our panel right now. Robin Winston, Tony Samuel, Jennifer Wagner, Mike Murphy with us today. Let's start with this race for president and the Biden-Harris ticket. Robin, what does this move mean both politically and historically?
Well, it means tremendous things politically. Kamala Harris has a proven track record as a United States Senator. She ran the largest law firm in the country as the Attorney General of California. She brings another intangible to this, and that is the ability to connect with people of all walks of life. If you've been a United States Senator from California, it's a pretty diverse state, so you've had to have the ability to deal with all kinds of people. Historically, it is something that will go down in the books in history. We'll have the first African American elected as vice president, the first Asian American elected as vice president. It's just tremendous and a tremendous role model for all of us, and particularly our young women who aspire to do great things in politics.
And the first woman of color on a major party ticket. Tony, what will we see when Senator Harris and Vice President Pence square off on the debate stage in October?
Well, I think you'll see Senator Harris attacking President Trump, as they have been doing all week, and that's really their only real campaign strategy. And you'll see Vice President Pence do a great job like he did against Tim Kaine. He really beat Tim Kaine badly in the debate 4 years ago, and he's excellent at this sort of thing. And you'll see a very polished debater in Vice President Pence, and he's going to win the debate.
Jennifer, there's been a lot of talk this week about the Republican reaction to Harris joining the ticket, and what avenue do they pursue kind of to attack her? What do you make of everything we've seen this week?
I think it's remarkable. I want to echo everything that Robin said. It's historic. I think you saw in the outpouring of support from Democrats, and I mean in the fundraising numbers, it was a really great pick for Joe Biden. But I think the best measure of what a great pick it was is the Republican response. And I liken sometimes the president to, you can't see them, but I have two golden retrievers right here by my side. And when they see a squirrel out the window, it does not matter if they're in the middle of playing ball or getting petted, they go nuts. And that's what you saw this week from the president. He could not handle it. And he has no good attacks, and so he's going after her on race and on gender. And it's sad to see, but that's what we've come to.
We will watch and see if we hear from the Golden Retrievers during this program. Mike, your thoughts on how this changes the campaign? Does it move any voters? Was everyone, most voters, you think, locked in already on their choice?
Well, obviously, the country is so polarized. I'm not sure it makes a big difference. I mean, I would not take Kamala Harris lightly at all. As Robin said, she's a very accomplished person. She did make a lot of mistakes during the Democratic debates, which the Republicans will be able to go back and throw back in her face and in Biden's face as well. Things like going after arresting people for very small drug offenses and things like that. And that's one of the reasons some of the African Americans were a suspect of her early on. This is clearly a move to motivate the black base, which it should be. Biden has to have every possible African American voter in order to beat Trump. But in reality, she doesn't bring really any electoral votes with her. The Democrats are going to get California no matter what happens. And so I think her big bump is going to come over the next couple of weeks. And then, as happens in all presidential races, she and Pence will fade back to the background, and it's really Trump versus Biden. Who do you hate more?
Well, of course, she went after Biden in one of those debates that you mentioned. The conventions start tomorrow, Robin, and just like the rollout of this ticket, it's all going to look very different because of the pandemic. The speeches being given virtually. It seems we always ask every election year, do conventions still matter? Particularly this year, that seems like a pertinent question.
It's a pertinent question. I mean, I was on my way to Milwaukee, but now we're not doing that, so we'll be watching it from home or watching it on our tablets or whatever we want to watch it on our phones. It will let the candidates get their message out, but then they got to hit the trail sooner or later, and that's going to be very interesting. I would say one thing about Senator Harris's addition to the ticket. While she may not bring in immediate electoral votes, obviously California, I think, will win. She will help in battleground states, which have cities like Detroit, Columbus, Indianapolis right here, and other battleground states that could end up helping and energize our base and turn out good numbers and make Philadelphia in play and Pittsburgh in play and make those states back in our column.
Obviously, those swing states are pretty crucial. Tony, what do you expect to see out of these conventions the next couple of weeks in the midst of this pandemic?
Well, you're going to see the contrast between the two parties. You know, remember when we were talking about the primaries and the Democrats had 30-some people, and I kept saying they're moving each other further and further to the left. They're trying to outdo each other, moving to the left, and they're going to fall off a cliff. Well, they've fallen off of that cliff, and picking Kamala Harris is evidence of that. And you'll see that when they're on display at the Democrat National Convention, and then contrast that with President Trump and Vice President Pence and all the accomplishments that they've made. You know, they had a roaring economy before coronavirus hit. They'll talk about all the strengths from that and the international affairs, the deal that was just made between the peace deal between Israel and the UAE, and more of that to come. So you'll see a lot of accomplishments, supporting the military, funding the military, helping our farmers, helping our blue-collar workers, taking care of families in need during this coronavirus pandemic. And that'll be the big contrast that the American people will see.
What will these conventions even look like? What will Election Day look like, right? Election Day itself, a lot of discussion about that, a lot of people voting absentee, a lot of controversy with some issues at the post office and the fight, Jennifer, over getting more funding to the post office ahead of Election Day.
Yeah, that's certainly a very sad development that happened this week, is to see the post office, which all of us rely on to get not just our ballots, but all of our mail every day, become this focal point on funding and become just a political football. I hope that we're able to see more absentee voting. I hope that we're able to make it as easy as possible for people to cast their votes in the midst of this pandemic. I have my doubts, but I also think that you're seeing more and more as the president loses his mind when he sees his polling numbers and goes after any target that's in his line of sight. I think you're seeing rational minds on both sides prevail and say, no, wait, hang on, we can't do that. We can't do that, sir. Let's take a step back.
A lot of discussion at the national level about that topic, also at the state level about who can legally vote by mail. Jennifer, Mike, Tony, Robin, we've got to leave it there. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it. Coming up next this Sunday in Focus, the debate over school funding, what the governor said this week and how leading lawmakers are reacting now. That's next.